Alrighty, so we're here to talk about the event of the year, the movie event.
No. Guys, you underestimate. That's an understatement, guys. Like, it's of the decade, of the century, like of film history. Come on.
123 years of film has led up to this moment.
You bet your ass it did.
So I guess the best way this is gonna be a weird podcast because we're technically going to talk about two movies and also a real life event that's been going on.
Do you want to talk about the strike first and some of the box office stuff that's been happening?
I guess we can briefly touch on the strike just because I don't think it's very important for this discussion specifically, but it is very important for context. So yeah, I guess just to put it briefly, yeah, I'm sure everybody have seen it, but yeah, the whole SAG-AFTRA, WGA AFTRA thing that's been going on has just been a real mess. Just this big, well, actually, not a big mess, just this very big thing that's been going on Hollywood. You know, a big thing has been going on in the film industry, just because it's affecting the most essential part of the whole entire film industry. It's already been affecting a bunch of stuff. Like a lot of movies have been delayed. At the time of this recording, the biggest movie that's been delayed has been the new Guadagnino movie. With Zendaya, yeah, Challengers. But looking at how stuff has been going on, it will probably not be the only movie that gets delayed.
Probably Dune 2.
Probably Dune 2, as much as that hurts me, it will probably get delayed.
Yes.
Films being delayed is the last thing people are gonna be worrying about. Just in general, a bunch of productions have been delayed. This whole new DCU, whatever the fuck James Gunn's been trying to do, and that whole thing has been delayed. Pretty much every, not even like shared universe, just any big film studio has been delayed. I think even A24 movies have been kind of put on hold.
Yeah, Problemista.
Yeah, Problemista. That's the new.
Not Sofia Coppola's movie Priscilla. That's supposed to come out in October, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's more. I think it's just more big movies than smaller movies. Because still David Fincher's The Killer is still coming. Is supposed to come out this year.
Although I do think that if any movies are gonna be getting delayed, it's probably going to be the big streaming ones. And sadly, yeah, that does include The Killer or Killers of the Flower Moon.
I really don't hope they don't do The Flower Moon. I'm thinking to myself for this. This could be the year that Rodrigo Prieto could get 2 Oscar nominations for Barbie and Killers of the Moonflower, and I really don't want that to go over.
I mean, speaking of, just now you mention it, yeah, obviously a bunch of the awards shows are getting delayed or put on hold at least. And I guess like I said, while this doesn't really have to do much with the whole Barbenheimer thing that's been going on, I do think it's very important to know about this
and have an understanding, what this is because many people just believe that every actor gets paid well if they're on a famous Netflix show or just a famous movie or TV show, but that's not really the case. Sadly, not even even ones that win big awards actors, they still have to pay their bills and meet their ends, which is very sad.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess we're not going to go over all the writers and actors demands. I mean, you can look those up, but from most of what I've seen, I mean, all of them are pretty valid. So especially like I mean, obviously the actors one's getting all the attention now, but the writers one is the one that kind of concerns me as well. You know, simply because, I mean, historically, like this is not a new thing. Historically, like actors have been treated like shit.
Especially these days, where everyone thinks like every actor is a part of like some sort of secret society, when that's not really the truth. There's still people who still need to like pay for their bills and everything, who are still like probably their houses might get they can't pay for their mortgages, all that stuff. But everyone just, there's a specific group of people that just want to believe that every actor in Hollywood is a part of something, which isn't true, which makes it much worse how actors are being seen. Because not every actor is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or Brad Pitt, where you can like literally make money every year, even though you're not in like a big movie.
And especially because like the way that I mean, most of the complaints from the whole strike have just been specifically about, maybe not specifically, but you can tell that a lot of these gripes come mostly from just, you know, streaming services.
Yeah, I showed Nicole a video from Vox that interviewed different writers. Do you remember that video I showed you?
Yeah, you showed me. Yeah, I was reading some comments and people saying like, "Oh, they once they got paid so well, and they are doing this," and I was like, "Oh my god." I guess people can't understand, or they just don't want to.
Yeah, especially because like I've seen I mean, yeah, exactly, like I think a lot of people are just very ignorant about how the film industry works. And even if they're not ignorant, I've seen comments, I mean, let's be fair, they're the very minority, but yeah, I've seen comments that like act like, yeah, well, they should write better movies if they want to get paid better or some shit. And it's like I mean, I don't know. For me personally, I don't care how good or bad or shitty your movie is. Like you still need to get paid because it's a job. You know, I don't understand that argument.
Even if they make a movie or something that I don't really care for, like I don't know, like a fucking Marvel movie or something, they should still be paid. Like visual effects artists should as well. And I actually did make Nicole much more aware, like as well, with how visual effects artists are treated, because she, Nicole, what was your opinion before I sent you the article about like visual effects artists?
Oh, I thought that they was like very well paid, and I didn't know that was like that much work, to be honest, because I have no idea how these things work.
Yeah, it was during when like reports were coming out that Disney or Marvel was not like paying their visual effects workers well, and as well like how much they were rushed with each project, specifically with She-Hulk and Black Panther. One focused more on the other one, and the other project suffered with CG that wasn't finished.
Yeah, and also like and like sadly, like even those situations with like Marvel and Disney, like those are like pretty tame compared to like, you know, that whole studio that had to redo all of this Sonic the Hedgehog animation, and they just went bankrupt. You know, like they went bankrupt for fixing an issue that they didn't even do. You know, it was fault of just the production team, who for some reason thought that design was a good idea until everybody was just started shitting on it.
Yeah.
Or even Life of Pi. You know.
Yeah. Did you guys see the documentary Life After Pi?
I've seen bits of it, but I mean, I know the entire story. You know, I also know how like
I showed Nicole the Oscar win. I showed Nicole the video of the Oscar win.
Exactly, yeah, the Oscar win. That one is so painful because like you can see them like panic, because like as soon as they start talking about how their company went out of business, they literally just like shut the microphone off and just like went to commercials. It's really sad.
That's so disrespectful.
And it's funny because the Oscars do this shit constantly. Even when
They did it to Iñárritu.
They did it to Iñárritu. They did it. They were gonna do it to Parasite. They were gonna finish their speech early, but then like they cut away and the lights start to dim. But like I think even the people in the audience, like a lot of the actors, even they like started like complaining because even they thought like, yeah, that's fucked up, you know, just let them finish their speech. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, it is. I think it does speak of, and I guess this has to do with the whole strike. But I guess this does really speak of how there's just so many people in not just Hollywood, but I guess I'm using Hollywood as the prime example. There's just so many people in the industry that really work hard and really deserve way more recognition, and people just kind of leave them to the sidelines or just straight up disrespect them. Yeah, which is why I think these strikes are important, you know, because they're asking for honestly very, you know, valid and logical things to ask, you know, as a worker, you know, let's forget about the movies for a second. Just as a worker, you know, these are very, you know, very human rights, basically. So I think it's very important that this is happening.
Or in the fact how both the Barbie and Oppenheimer cast members were like, yeah, if the strike starts, then we're gonna have to leave the premiere because we can't be hypocritical. And that's true. You can't be hypocritical. You gotta leave.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they also like rushed the entire premiere.
Yeah, Disney thing where the Disney characters to the premiere. Did you hear about Disney? They brought like Disney characters to the premiere because actors weren't there for like their new movie Haunted Mansion.
Oh, did they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did.
Wow.
And it's embarrassing. It is very embarrassing what they did.
Yeah, like, why would you even go to the premiere just to see a bunch of people in costumes? What the fuck? But yeah, I guess we're not gonna move on just yet to Barbenheimer, but we are gonna move on to previously I mentioned the whole thing of people like, you know, some people just kind of being ignorant, saying like, oh, they should make better movies before they start complaining. Obviously, that's a very dumb complaint. However, that does speak of a very, very noticeable thing that's been going on also recently, which I don't think it's separate from the strikes, but I do think it's very we need to very much address it because I think it's the reason why Hollywood is really just in a weird limbo right now, and it's because most of the biggest movies of this year have been doing awful. You know, like not even quality wise, just nobody goes to see it. Like they just
a Pixar movie did that again. It wasn't even this time for a controversy. It was just because, well, nobody's interested with it. Because I feel like one of the reasons why Lightyear did so badly was because of the controversy last year about the gay kiss. This year is because nobody wants to watch Elemental because, well, nobody's interested in it. Everyone's like, yeah, the story is kind of basic, whatever. And that's what everyone's been saying. It's like, yeah, the animation looks fine, looks good, but that's it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird to live like in a timeline where like a Wes Anderson movie did better than. Let's look at the list. A Transformers, The Flash, a Pixar movie, Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck is that even possible? We're talking big ass movies. Like, let's forget about the quality here for a second. How the hell did this movie's not do good?
Yeah, there were lots of people watching Asteroid City in my screening. I was just like, wait a minute, what the heck? So many people.
Yeah, and you know, I know that you know, Wes Anderson is not exactly the most indie filmmaker ever, but like, comparing to like all of these like giant IP driven movies, like he's just this tiny tiny little director with his tiny little movie, and somehow he did better than all of them. You know, like the only other movie that I can think of that did really well this year is Guardians 3, and I mean, and that's because people. I can't even say people like Marvel, because Marvel hasn't been doing good either. It's mostly just because people just like those characters, just like the Guardians.
Yeah.
And the Spider-Verse movie, which even then, I mean, I know that Spider-Verse, it's also a very big movie. Obviously, has the Spider-Man name in it, but like Spider-Verse is not your typical Hollywood movie. Like, first of all, like, you don't see that much praise and word of mouth over an animated movie, unless it's like Pixar or Disney or like DreamWorks or something.
And that's what happened to Boots, though. Puss in Boots got a word of mouth, and everyone started to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like, and you can't even say, oh, it's because of Shrek, because like the other Puss in Boots movie did not do very well.
The biggest movie that made a lot of money this year for animated wise was the Super Mario movie, but I don't really hear anyone talking about it anymore. I hear more people talking about Puss in Boots and Spider-Verse.
Yeah, and even then, like at the very least, you can tell that people really gravitated to the Mario movie way more than a lot of other big Hollywood movies, simply because, like, it's a family movie, so it has obviously a lot of appeal to it, and also just property. Yeah, but even then, like, I mean, it is a gigantic property, but I guess when it comes to movies, it's still a bit new, to have such a gigantic video game movie, Like, if any video game movie was gonna do as well as that, it might as well have been the Mario movie. But still, it's still a very significant thing. So you can tell that a lot of people are just kind of starting to move away from what was typically successful in Hollywood, especially because not just because, like, let's look at the movies that like failed. For example, some like Transformers. This is like the 7th fucking Transformers movie. I think by this point people are sick of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. Okay, look, I'm a big Indiana Jones fan, but I did not ask for a fucking 5th Indiana Jones movie.
I think my mom said it the best. She was like, "Why am I going to go see Harrison Ford trying very hard as an old man to do stunts?"
Yeah, exactly. And then what is it? Yeah, the new Pixar movie. I mean, I think by this point, like, people already know how a Pixar movie is supposed to be, so they're just like not interested. And then I think the biggest offender, or just at the very least the biggest example of this whole stuff that's been going on, is that Flash movie, because I think that movie was just, everything was just against it. First of all, yeah, I think most people can be very forgiving of a lot of shitty things that people do in Hollywood, but I just think the whole Ezra Miller stuff went so viral and so notoriously that bad taste just never washed out of people's mouths,
That they went into the premiere.
Exactly, yeah. The fact that he went to the premiere, the fact that he basically got a get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
Like, I think people would have still gone and seen The Flash and liked it fine if, like, he was still in jail or something. But the fact that he was at the premiere just really rubbed people the wrong way, I think. And yeah, like, and then the fact that, yeah, it's another fucking superhero movie with this big multiverse stuff that's trying to do, it's trying to do the entire nostalgia baby stuff again. I think The Flash is just this amalgamation of everything that people are just fucking sick of in the movies.
I still believe in my theory that a good chunk of the budget for The Flash was bail money for Ezra Miller. I still believe that.
I mean, I honestly can't blame you, because have you seen that movie? Like,
it's bad.
I do not believe
really
for a fucking second that movie cost $200 million. All right, I don't even believe that movie cost $100 million.
It looks like fucking PS4 graphics
No,
at points.
PS4, you're being way too generous. That shit looks. I've seen better graphics on like my PS3. Like, what the fuck was that?
Just say that Ezra Miller is the problem.
Yeah. Exactly. Just blame everything about that movie on Ezra Miller. It's way better. But yeah, so I guess now that we're leading this whole little like dissection of what the hell has been going on this past few years. Now that we're leading it up to the whole Barbenheimer thing, I just think that all the pieces were there to make Barbenheimer the phenomenon that it was, you know, because like looking at it now, it makes so much more sense why people reacted to these two movies the way that they did, because they were literally desperate for anything positive in when it came to like just the.
I think everyone knew these would be like the highest grossing movies of this with Spider-Verse as well, because it's weird that after Spider-Verse, nothing else was really that big, crazy. Because this is supposed to, every summer is supposed to be the summer of blockbusters, but not this year. We're going into Barbie now?
Yeah.
We're all ready?
Yes, we're all ready to talk about Barbie.
Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig, who have you guys seen Greta Gerwig's other movies?
Yes.
No.
I started watching Lady Bird, but I never finished.
I've seen both. I actually saw Lady Bird right before Barbie because I hadn't seen it yet. But yeah.
I've seen Lady Bird's like I think a few years ago, probably 3 or 2 years ago. It was good. I liked it.
I guess I was started watching with my mom, and for some reason we stopped. So that's why.
I don't remember why I didn't watch it. I just wasn't a priority for me. Same with Lil, you know, Gregor was becoming like a big name.
I want to see more of the movies she's acted in. I want to see Frances Ha.
Oh
really
yeah,
wanna see-
I've also seen Friends. Actually, Frances Ha is a movie that she co-wrote. Yeah, like that's a Noah Baumbach movie, but he co-wrote it with Gerwig, and she also stars in it. Yeah, so yeah, I've seen Frances Ha. I've seen Little Women. I actually really.
Oh yeah, Little Women. I've seen Little.
Yeah, I really like that movie. Honestly,
It's fine. I like the set designs, the acting, and the story was kind of boring, but I thought that was better than the actual story.
I don't know. I mean, I really thought the ending was the thing that like really sold the movie for me. Like, because I also thought the story was kind of not that interesting, but once the actual ending kicks in, I actually thought it was pretty interesting how they ended it. I really enjoyed it.
I just felt like Greta Gerwig has like good movies, but anytime when they like get nominated or something in good years, like 2019 and 2020 and 2018, they're always kind of like the weaker ones.
Yeah,
in some ways.
Yeah, that's
kind of like
that's true.
I don't like Lady Bird is still good and Little Women is okay, but they're not like the best ones out of them because 2018 you got The Shape of Water, and
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk. Not Dunkirk. Not really Dunkirk.
Yeah, I like Dunkirk a lot.
I like it too. I mean, I liked it more than the 1917. Phantom Thread. Yeah, Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread. That was
Get Out. Call Me by Your Name. All those.
Yeah, and then 2019. Yeah, you had shit like Jojo Rabbit and fucking Parasite. You know, Irishman.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. So yeah, that is a good point. You know, I think even when Greta Gerwig is late, I think it's unfortunate that like she's just like stuffed into a bunch of other honestly better movies, even though her movies are still really good.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that's going to change with this new Barbie movie.
Yeah, she has a good chance. I mean, come on. It has to happen. I'm so like I'll be so mad. I'm gonna throw something out my window.
It has to win something. But yeah, so like going into this movie, honestly, like I had no idea what to expect. I knew it was going to be like a more satirical, tongue-in-cheek look at Barbie, the toy. Uh, but I would have never guessed that basically Greta Gerwig just tricked the entire world to see her movie just for her to just like throw a fucking Molotov bomb at the audience and just ran for 2 hours, and it was amazing because
Brilliant.
yes, she honestly like I did not expect this movie to be I guess that's one thing that at first was bothering me about the movie is just how in your face and not subtle at all it is.
Yeah.
Because it is constantly just throwing you social commentary in your face,
Mhm.
and it just does not hold back. And to be honest, I think the reason why she did that is because she understood that this movie was going to be big. This movie was going to be seen by a lot of people. So
Especially with a property like Barbie, to be honest,
yeah,
if you're
exactly.
gonna do Barbie, and there's so many people with Barbie and everything, it's like, yeah, of course you're gonna have like lots of people in the audience to watch Barbie.
So I understand why, she felt the need. I mean, she and Bombach felt the need to like maybe spoon feed the message to the audience because they just wanted the message to be as clear as possible.
I forgot this was written by Baumbach. I forgot this was written by Baumbach as well.
Yeah, it's a duo.
So interesting. That's so fucking interesting.
Yeah,
That's why I was like thinking to myself, okay, this could actually be pretty good because it's like Neil Blombeck and
Gerwig.
Gerwig working together or writing the script together. Gerwig is directing. You got Ryan Gosling in it. It's just like this could be really good.
Yeah,
You know what? It was really
it
good.
was great, and like I think it's funny how they felt the need to like make the message as clear as possible, and yet there were so many people that still missed the entire point of the movie.
Yeah, I guess they didn't watch the movie because the movie's so clear about everything. Like so fucking clear.
Yeah.
I throw up a bit during the movie because it's so relatable in a lot of ways for me. Especially I used to play with Barbies a lot as a kid.
I think the movie is because like even though the movie's trying to be this very general audience kind of movie, I think I was surprised how despite that it still like paid homage and respect to the actual toy itself and people who play with it, because like even though I never played with Barbies, but I can tell that a lot of it was a lot of the people who worked behind the movie really tried hard to like emulate what people like about Barbies, just from the set design and a lot of the characters being references to the toys.
The colors are so good in this movie. It's like how everything's like so alive. I don't know how to explain.
Yeah, like it's definitely I mean just the whole set of Barbie Land alone it's just so like I don't remember who the production designer is, but she really knocked it out of the park because it looks amazing.
I love the detail of how the Barbie drank her milk, and it's like, oh, it's like how the commercials would like, because you guys remember those commercials we saw as little kids, and they would like say you can make your Barbie drink as well, and they like how they did it was that's like, oh, that's a cool detail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like everything they do is meant to like mimic how people play with Barbies, and just how like, oh, I'm gonna get out of my house, she literally floats to her car, like how a girl would pick her up and like put her in the car, you
Yeah.
know
Yes, that's so nice.
And I just find it really fascinating how much they were able to get away with, and mostly just by a movie that's
Especially
really
with
bad.
Maddle.
Hell.
Maddle was like in this, and I'm just like, did Maddle just let them like be like, hey, you can shit on us, it's fine.
I mean, and they do not hold back in just absolutely shitting on Mattel. Like, that's the thing. I don't know how they were able to get away with so much, you know? Like, because it's not like mean or anything, but they just really they just really had the freedom to just like shit on, like, not just Mattel as a company, but just like as the CEO, and like just their entire business model, you know?
I just love it when she gets in the place like in metal and there's a bunch of men. It's so fucking funny to
Yeah,
me.
just the whole comment of like this entire toy whose purpose is to empower women is run by a company of men, basically. You
Yeah.
know?
It's just more funnier when Will Ferrell's character is like, you can call me mother.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, I'm the mother of a son, of a son and a daughter.
Oh, wait! You remember that they're trying to say like, oh well, we had women CEOs. We had the creator. She was the CEO for a while. Then at least one more. So yeah, there's two for you. Like
I really loved the camera use in this movie. I love how there's different styles, especially in the beach scene. I don't know if you guys got those like weird things of how like movies were done in like in the 60s or something. If you got like that clue of like how they were filming it. Like they kind of use like weird zoom ins and everything that like old films would be using.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was like great.
Yeah, I mean, there's one part when like all the Kens take over Barbie Land and they're playing on the beach. They're playing volleyball on the beach, and the way it's filmed is clearly like making fun of like Top Gun and movies like that.
Hmm.
Like, I thought that was very
Yeah.
funny.
I I still find it amazing that Rodrigo Prieto was involved in this. Same guy as Amores Perros and other Iñárritu movies, and Brokeback Mountain is like doing Barbie.
And Martin Scorsese, like, yeah, like Rodrigo Prieto at this point is like out of control. Like, he can basically work with whoever the fuck he wants, you know.
Yes, for my Mexican brothers, did you guys see any of like a specific pink used in Mexico called I guess there's no specific name for it. I guess it's just called Rosa Mexicana.
Yeah, Rosa Mexicana. Yeah.
Did you guys see some Rosa Mexicana?
I did. It was mostly in the weird Barbie's house, because it's like a more
Stronger pink.
yeah, it's like a stronger pink, almost like reddish pink. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah. There's a lot of
Apparently it was Rodrigo Prieto who put the idea for that pink, because Greta Gerwig didn't know what Rosa Mexicana was until Prieto showed her what it was, and she was like, yeah, we should use this in the movie.
That's awesome. Like, just technically speaking, this movie is like incredible. Like we already talked about, the
Very fast. It's very fast, but in a good way. I like even though I felt like some scenes, like probably just one or two, were kind of like a bit kind of slow, and that really should have like done a bit more. I think that still doesn't say like how much this movie is like well paced and everything. Like like seriously, I was thinking to myself, wait, it's over now? It's like, wow, that didn't take that long to finish this.
Yeah, because like those 2 hours just pass and you don't even notice it.
I think what's fun. It's funny why you mentioned that, because it's probably like one of the shortest movies of this year too. Not like, but because like every other movie is just fucking 3 hours long now. Like, so that seeing this movie being like an hour and something minutes, like I think 50 minutes, is like that's so short compared to like the 3 hour movies we're getting from other studios this year.
I there's a very there's a very there's a very nice detail that I love when Kendom changes the radio music, is that that specific song when I was young was played a lot in the radio.
Oh,
So hearing that song again was like, oh my god, no, yeah, it was so funny. I forgot what the song is called, but I recognize it.
yeah. I mean, when it came to like making fun of like music genres that typically men listen to, I honestly think I think they could have gone a bit more diverse with it. I think they just kind of stuck to a single genre, but it is a very funny genre to make fun of because it is a very like bro kind of music to listen to.
I like how the film like sort of has like, it is not an explanation but have like an idea of like why Ken sees this as like an opportunity for him and the other Kens, because it's like how books and everything about patriarchy and horses, because this is more for the horses. Sadly enough, but he used whatever he could find to like be like, okay, I can feel like I'm like I'm actually used for something, which is like sad, but at the same time it's like, but it's like true. It's like, yeah, that's how a lot of like men like himself feel, like as if they need to use like these sorts of books that like make men look as if they can do everything without like help. And then at the end he's fucking crying and everything and saying like, no, it's not just Ken, it's Ken and Barbie.
Yeah, like I'm glad that you brought it up because like, I thought that, going into the movie, I thought like Ken was obviously going to be used as like some sort of like comic relief for the movie. What I did not expect was for Ken and basically all of the Kens that appear in the movie to like Ken is basically just used as this like caricature for Gara to use to just make fun of everything that she hates, not just about men specifically, just this whole thing.
The idea of what masculinity looks like for those people.
Yeah,
for those specific people.
Especially because like she really like on it. I don't know if it was intentional. I'm pretty sure it has to, because like, I mean, from what the rest of the movie is about and how it's handled, but like she and Baumbach really nailed in the coffin of like how a lot of especially young men these days, just kind of like fall into this rabbit hole of, oh, I feel inadequate as a man. Now I have to do this, and I have to do, like it really. I did not expect it to go that deep.
I was talking about that with Nicoli. Was it yesterday? I think we were talking about. We were talking about the Yellow Flash dude who like made the videos of like Barbie or something, and how like people like him get young boys to like have this idea how the industry works and everything, and then make feels like as if they know everything, and how men should be treated and which is crazy.
Yeah, like it's really great how the movie really captured how so many of these like you said, young men that maybe feel inadequate or just very insecure about themselves and their gender for whatever reason, and then like once they start reading up on a bunch of these I mean, let's face it, very patriarchy, almost you could say almost borderline misogynist way that our society works. Now they have like this excuse to like act all rile up, like, oh yeah, we have to rebel, You know,
Yeah.
we have to preserve our rights as men, yo. You know, like just this very desperate attempt to like feel special. Like,
Nicole, can you please confirm that Ken is just an accessory, not really actually you need? And for like when you're playing with Barbies.
Yeah, he's just like I used to play with him sometimes, but I used to do, because I did not like have so many cans, like just one or two. I used to do my dolls kiss each other. So then they are like cans. Was it that important?
Ken, he's just Ken. That's it.
Yeah, it's just can.
Actually, I do have some. From my experience playing with Barbie, I was that kid that just turned a Barbie doll that I just happened to find into Weird Barbie.
you were with Barbie's owner?
No, I just happened to have one. Like, I think we just found it. I think I don't know where it came from. We just happened to find one in the
Mhm.
closet, and I just started playing with it just because I got bored. And then because like I'm not gonna play doll, I was like, I guess I'm just gonna throw it around and fucking mess it up. I turned my Barbie doll into Weird Barbie.
I like the Matrix reference with the weird Barbie. I just find it so funny how weird Barbie is, like when she does like the choice of like the Matrix is like, if you choose this chew, you'll forget about everything. And then she's like says like, no, this is all false. This is just an idea. This is just an idea for you to actually get amped up for the actual for the regular shoe, for the sandal.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, oh my god, that's literally the Matrix. That's literally how the Matrix does it. I'm just like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Mhm. I mean, yeah, there's so many points in the movie where like they actively make fun of like the movie's aware that it is a movie, and they make fun of like about a lot of the tropes. You know,
Yeah.
like there's that one line where like the main Barbie says like, you know, I don't feel pretty anymore, and then like the narrator just says, hey, by the way, we know that Margot Robbie saying this is not very convincing. We are aware of it.
Everyone was laughing. That was so fucking good.
or like when, because like there's so many different movies that do the whole, you know, oh, meet the creator of this IP you're watching sort of moment. And then this movie also does that, but they just kind of turn it into a joke. You know,
Yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, by the way, this is the creator of Barbie. She evaded taxes. Just thought you let you know that.
I was I was kind of laughing when John Cena arrived. I was like, what the fuck? They literally got John Cena to play a mermaid Barbie. What the
Mermaid
fuck?
Ken, Michael. Jesus.
Huh?
Mermaid Ken.
He's Mermaid Ken. That's true.
Mermaid Ken. Okay, Mermaid Ken.
But he's not Barbie. He's just a Ken.
Yeah,
He's
mermaid.
Just a Ken.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys felt that way, but I felt like that scene where she's like sitting and she's looking around and she looks at an old woman and she's like, oh, you are so beautiful. For me, that scene was like so fucking beautiful. I don't know why, but I just love it. Like, what she say, like, kind of what make me think is that how, like, especially for women sometimes is like getting old, because when you get old you lost your value. You are not pretty anymore. You are just like old. You don't have any value anymore. I just found it scene so beautiful.
I am grateful for that scene, as I think something I wanted to bring up soon would be like the emotional bits of the movie, just because because I think the movie also works in that department. Like the whole movie, like the movie is great with all the satire or commentary and the funny bits, like whatever you want to say. But I also do believe like it's very emotional for me, especially like that scene. Like I don't think I can ever truly understand how much that hits a woman, because of course I'm a dude, you guys are dudes too, but like here, I am really glad that Nicole Lee is here to bring that up, because like I feel like it really, that scene can really hit someone. For me, I just think of like what how great that scene is, and to think like so many women's hearts are like touched by it. And in my case, it also worked on me too, just because I think of like the image of like a mother and her kid as they're like growing up and all. I thought that was very sweet, because I think of like memories of my mother, like the image of a mom and her daughter together. Just it feels so warm, you know. I am so glad the movie had moments like that, just because like Barbie, this movie has a lot to say, not just like on commenting like the issues we're having with the patriarchy that we have in this world, but also just like how much Barbie does.
Isn't it kind of more funny how Ken got those books very easily? Like the patriarchy books. He got like the fucking patriarchy books and the horses like very easily at a public school. I just thought that was really funny.
No, you probably just got a library card. That's probably the easiest thing to do in the real world.
I just think his whole naivete is just really funny. Just being like, "Hey, I want a job here." Yeah, but you need like a job interview or a certificate. Yeah, but I'm a man. You need to give me this job right now because I'm a man. But he's just so convinced that he is, because he's a man, he's literally able to do whatever he wants. Like it's really funny. But yeah, I am glad that y'all brought that up, because it is very true. You know, like as much as the movie's very funny with satire and like just haha, I made fun of film bros. I did find funny how the movie just literally spent like 5 minutes of its runtime just absolutely shitting on film bros. You know?
Yeah. Like it was like, oh, you like The Godfather? Yes, The Godfather is
Yeah.
a very beautiful. It is a port.
When I was watching during that scene, my friend next to me started tapping me on the knee, going like, "That's you, that's you." That's you.
Yeah, I was looking at that scene. I was just laughing my ass off. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, exactly. Especially because like you can tell how especially like, I mean, I was able to see this at my screenings, but there was obviously a bunch of like dates going around where like the guy wanted to see the movie because of his girlfriend, and like, oh, look at that actor, look at that's directed by this and blah blah blah. So I'm glad that the movie specifically pointed that out, just to make fun of that one specific person.
I just love the scene where all the Kens are playing to the Barbie, because it's so fucking good. So fucking good. When one of them say like, "Oh, let's play with their ego," when they like change it. I'm sorry, but
oh my god, that scene was awesome.
Oh yeah, they're on the campfire.
Yeah, and they're all singing the same song.
Yeah, like there's one guy who's like, he's also at the bonfire, but he has a fucking drum. Like he's just playing drums and the beach.
Oh, I swear I saw another instrument over there too. Like, fuck, what was it?
There's like a ukulele.
Yeah, I think.
John C. I mean, but Mermaid Ken is like doing the ukulele.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, especially like when Margot Robbie takes out her phone, like starts texting, like oh, like I love it, like just like the fact like you're like the way they know how to hurt a man's ego. It's like, oh, like they are getting bored of this dude. Now they're just going on their phones. Like, oh, that's the way to hurt the ego. Like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah.
I guess Alan in a way is like a person like that. I guess a lot of people can relate also, like that is like different. Like he's like how can I explain? He doesn't have like the same masculinity of the Kens. He's just Alan, and he's great for that. He's great for just being Alan.
He is the only
Yeah.
Alan.
He's the only Alan. But yeah, like that is a good point because like even though Alan is played more of a joke character, I do think it is still very clever how they still manage to like address how not all men like fit into the whole masculinity thing, you know, like especially because a lot of people were saying that maybe they're insinuating that Alan is gay, but I don't think it's that. It's just I just think it just Alan's just supposed to be those kinds of guys or men who just they don't really fit into that whole stereotype, which is why they always feel.
I do relate that a lot with Alan. I was just like letting to myself, yeah, that I do see myself in that part because I think all three of us really see that ourselves in that masculinity thing where it's just like we don't
we don't get
really
it. Exactly.
I think I see that. Oh, I feel like we're gonna see that a lot. In that, a lot of people are like, "Oh, like I don't see myself as Ken, so I'm like one of the good ones." And I'm thinking, like, oh God, like I just imagine like how a lot of them like talk like that, like as a way to think like, "Oh, I'm not like the bad ones. Like I'm one of the good ones." Like almost like there's this weird coping thing going on there. It's like. I just remember thinking that as I walked out the theater, it's like hoping like almost like they need someone to they need a Barbie to reaffirm their self-esteem or whatever, their ego.
Yeah, I mean, I don't because like I do agree that a lot of people may think that way, but like I don't necessarily agree with like people saying like, "Oh, I'm not one of the bad Kens." It's like the thing is, it's not that they're bad people; they're just dumb. Like, like they're like, it's not like the movie's not trying to say, "Oh, all men are bad." All the movie's doing is like
the movie is talking about the idea of what men use to make themselves look tougher, or look like as if they're better than women.
Yeah, like the movie's just saying this is look at all these things that men do that is really dumb but also funny.
Yeah, like the drinking thing. I love how they switch like we're drinking cups to like we're drinking fake beers and how they drink them. This is like makes me laugh.
It does remind me of something that I forgot who brought this up, but I thought it was kind of genius. Where like Barbie and Ken entering the real world is like two kids learning about how the real world works and like what that can do to you. Like I remember they brought that Ken's like that little boy that's like real nice as a kid, but then when they grow up, they just they kind of just get these like awful traits about like how they see the world and all that. It's like like interesting thing they brought. I forgot who I got this from, but like it was very interesting to hear. Just like oh shit, like it is kind of like I kind of do see like a kid learning about the real world, just how fucking hard it is to be to be an adult or whatever. I thought it was interesting, especially like hearing it from seeing it with Ken and then also seeing with Barbie, like how like just being a human is just not as cracked up to be. It just feels like maybe a kid learning like what being an adult in this world is like, especially when like people start playing with Barbies once they grow up. So Barbies and Kens probably don't know how the actual world works.
Yeah.
How they said it as well. How it's like we helped women being empowered, and then they go to the real world. It's like, wait a minute, the construction workers are all males. There's no females.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I think one of the first lines of the movie is something like, oh, Barbie is super happy because she fixed all of the women's world's problems or some shit. Like it immediately like establishes that yeah, she lives like in her own like little fantasy where like everything is perfect. You know.
You can. It's a huge thinking piece there, honestly. You
Yeah.
could take out of that one, the opening really.
You can also see that in the mother and the daughter characters, which I mean, this is probably my only real complaint with the movie is the fact that it's not that I don't like those characters. I actually really like those characters. It's just that I think their whole arc was kind of a bit rushed.
Yeah, I felt those were much more rushed than the other characters, specifically the daughter character, because it just kind of like went like, oh, I hate Barbie. Barbie is everything wrong with how women are looked at, and blah 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 blah. And then in the end, she's
Yeah.
like, oh, I forgive Barbie. I mean, there's more than that. There's more to that, but it's just like the way how they
Oh
went,
yeah, they
how
could
they
Yeah.
do
went, kind of
more
felt like
about
unjustified.
her. Would be good.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would have liked to learn more about them, especially because I actually do like the mother character a lot because she's very nice. She's very like like a very polite character, but like she's also dealing with a lot of shit.
I was sorry. I just had to bring this up. I was so like confused at the Barbie that could if you pull the arm or something, the breast would go
Oh
bigger, and
yeah.
I found out it is real.
No, yeah, like I think there's literally a line in the movie that says, "Hey, by the way, all of these toys are real. We did not make any of this up. This is actually a real toy." Yeah, I did find it funny how they poked fun at the Barbie's history and the weirder toys that came out. Like pregnant Barbie was also a very fucking weird one that they put in the movie.
Midge. I just like how a Will Ferrell character is like, oh hey Midge, oh yeah, we discontinued you, and then they just went along, and she's just like there looking looking and just like, yeah, I'm unimportant.
I think she said. I think he even said something like meaner. I think it's like, "Oh yeah, I thought we'd never see you again" or something.
I discovered why they discontinued Alan, and I was like, oh my god, it's because he's like the movie also say that he's the best friend of Ken, and his clothes, like he used the same clothes that Ken, and because of that, people were saying that was like gay, so they discontinued like doing Alan's. He appears years later, yeah, but like the husband of the pregnant Barbie, but then stopped it again.
That's very weird, honestly.
I just like how I also like how when Ken takes over Barbie Land, like pretty much the Barbie property changes to like Ken in the real world, where it's just like, yeah, lots of Kens are being sold, and there's already like a movie being made for him. Just like what?
Oh, you know what's so
What
fucking hilarious
the?
actually? I kind of wish they said like, and Noah Baumbach's attached to direct it.
Yeah, I thought it would have been funny if like they actually started making fun of like the filmmakers themselves. Like kind of how like they make fun of like Margot Robbie being the main actress.
I would love to have seen that. Like, there's some other world where like Noah Baumbach is directed a Ken movie, and they make that same joke in the movie as well. Holy shit, that was fucking
Yeah.
amazing.
Mm-hmm. One last thing that I wanted to bring up about Barbie before we like jump into the other movie is I guess coming back to what you guys were saying that yes, like I think what makes the movie really stand out apart from it being this gigantic satire, just this big having all of this like joke and stuff is the fact that it's also very emotional. Like yeah, you guys talked about that scene in the scene with the old lady, and also that scene is almost like done again, but with a lot more finality to it at the end, where like she's with the woman who created Barbie, you know, like she's just told to like feel, and yeah, you just get like this very honestly very touching like montage of just people living their lives.
Montage, yeah, especially like little girls and women and everything.
There actually in that same scene there was a line that hit me so hard. Like it's kind of hard to say before I start crying, but like where the creator of Barbie was like, "Mothers stand still, so that daughters can see how far, so their daughters move forward and see how far they gone."
Oh yeah.
And I'd like I remember that line so, and like thinking about my own mom, and like remembering that she's not just a mom; she's also had her own dreams and her own goals in mind. Like in that moment, I started thinking like, what was her dream? Like, what did she dream of doing one day?
Mm-hmm.
And I started bawling. It was just so good. Like you can't, like it's so touching to hear what they had to say about women. Like fuck, man. Like it's hard. Like
You know, it's funny how the movie starts out making fun of, and I guess parodying 2001, because in a way you could say that this is Greta Gerwig's 2001, because honestly, like that whole ending is it's literally Barbie just learning to be human, you know, just she just accepting like it really got really philosophical at the end, because like, you know, like all of the characters arcs pretty much got resolved, you know. But the Kens, like I guess, managed to like feel enough without, you know, having to feel this anxiety of like, oh, what a man's supposed to be or something like that. But then like, yeah, like Barbie, what's her ending, you know? Like I think that it almost felt like, you know, like, you know, Baumbach and Gerwig asking, yeah, what ending can we write for this character, you know? And yeah, like they acknowledge, yeah, like you're an idea, you know, you're not really a human, you know, you're more just this concept for I mean mostly women, yeah, but like just this concept that lives on forever, you know. And like to be human you have to be finite but also have real emotions and real struggles as well, you know. And you know, there's also that scene with America Ferrera, which like she basically does this entire speech to you know, I guess you could say like rile up the Barbies, but it's mostly just like it's just this really interesting just look at how there's just so many pressures on being a woman, and just like not just from this, not just from men or society, just in general, you know, just it's just a very difficult place to be in. And obviously, like, you know, I'm just talking from my experience. I have no idea how does that affect women, you know. I'm honestly very curious how you felt about that speech, Nicolay, because it's obviously meant as a
That speech
yeah.
like hit me very hard, to be honest, because I could like feel what she was speaking, like about not being enough, about like odd things about men. Like I was, and I saw like my friend that was at my side crying too, because she said like, oh my god, this is so real. Because when she said that women like they you have to speak for men even when like a man does something wrong that is not. I mean, of course, the movie is not talking about like oh the men, but about like how a lot of women feel.
Honestly, yeah, I'm fascinated how that speech can really like speak to so many issues. I mean, maybe not issues, but just thoughts that a lot of women have. You know, like I'm very. I guess I'm not shocked, but I am very interested in like what you said. Like, yeah, your friend really had an emotional response to that because she basically like related a lot to just that feeling. You know, like, oh, you're just not good enough to be in this society. You know, no matter what you do. You know, so yeah, like honestly, I think that's great that the movie really like really captures something in people. You know, like regardless of like gender or whatever thing situation, like and like I said, like I guess it is good that the movie really spoon fed the message to the audience as much as possible because it really was trying really hard so that everybody understood. Like even if they refuse to understand, as we've seen with so many cases recently, but still.
I think it's interesting when hearing that, like how the movie's not subtle at all with its message, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm pretty sure the women making this movie are probably tired of having to be subtle and have to like walk around broken glass to make sure that they don't come off as like whiner, which is part of the speech actually. Like it's like they can't just start saying what the issue is. Like otherwise a lot of men will be turned off by it. Like, and you can almost see it because like how like we both spoon feeding all. We just brought it up, yeah. Like, and like that's kind of like they're kind of tired of having to try to do it subtly. Like they just want to say it out loud. They're like they want to say it loud, say it proud, which is why America Ferrera's character just went on this rant. Like it can almost feel cathartic to say it out loud. I'll do my best to understand like what women are feeling during this scene, but like as a guy, I never will. But also I'm trying. But like it is interesting to see what that rant scene. I think like how like like it feels cathartic to say it out loud.
It feels like the character was like hiding this for so long to say like loud what she was feeling.
Totally get it. Yeah, like I can feel like the actress has been wanting to say that forever.
Yeah. So I guess is there anything else you guys want to talk about the movie before we jump into Oppenheimer?
I have one joke I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
Is when Alan started kicking the shit out of the construction workers, and then at one point he starts choking one of them out and just starts shushing them like shh as the guys lose. Looks like the guy just dies. Like that guy, he killed him. He killed that guy.
Oh my god, yeah.
You guys remember that scene, right? He killed that guy. He choked him out.
But hey, the right wing they have a good point though. This movie's woke as fuck. I can't support this movie. Sorry, Nicoli. This movie is woke trash.
I think that's what's the best part about Greta Gerwig being the director is the fact that like Barbie's such a controversial figure in feminism, but like when you give it to natural woman, they turn it into feminist movies. Like great, so glad that like it was her make the movie, not some dude,
Even if I wasn't that big in like Lady Bird, I can still appreciate like this movie feels much more like
great
personal
I'm
for
glad
the director
too.
in some ways.
But I am glad that she got to make this one because Barbie was able to touch a wider audience. Lady Bird's great at doing that too, but it won't. Its reach isn't as big as like Barbie, But like now, look at this. It's probably going to be $1 billion movie that has like huge feminist themes that so many women can do it.
Yeah, it's doing much better than the past movies from Warner Bros. Apparently, it's already succeeded like The Dark Knight and Aquaman. They were both like the highest movies. I don't know if we asked this yet. How did we feel about the music? Because I'm kind of mixed with
Oh,
the
the
music
music
a
is
bit.
fucking banging. I don't know why you're watching. The
Yeah,
soundtrack is amazing.
I'm kind of mixed because I like the song that they use for like the dance scene at the beginning of the
Oh,
party.
the Dua
Dance
Lipa
Tonight
song.
was really good. Yeah, I like how that one was used, and as well, Man I Am was good, was used good as well. I did not like the Barbie World song. I did not like it.
Oh yeah, that's probably the one song I didn't like, but like that's just at the credits, so I didn't really mind it.
It's just like at this point, like I know why. I know why they didn't put the actual song, but it's just like it was so perfect for this movie though. Barbie World was so perfect for this movie.
No, I think another great song that I I noticed in the movie was when she's having like her first day, like she's out having all this fun, like oh, like life is great, but then like the next, like but then she has her like question, her existential crisis. Then the next day, nothing's going right, and you hear the lyrics. Um, fuck, where are they? Like the lyrics are have changed too. And I was like, oh, that's expired. Like, and think about death. Like, fuck, how did that song go? It was great. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they changed it because at
Yeah.
first it was the Lizzo song, and then it's Lizzo singing it again, but this time like she's singing like, yeah, I feel not so great today now.
I love I'm Just Ken by Ryan
The
Gosling.
dance
I forgot
moves.
like yeah, Ryan
Oh my
Gosling's a
god,
good
the dance
singer.
movies in that movie is so good, so good. The dance moves like both at the beginning and especially like when all the cans are like dancing, because they look like so fucking like yeah, they look so fucking
They're
happy,
dance fighting.
and I don't know, they look happy, like comfortable. I don't know how to explain, but I was just like, oh my god, this is so good. I was so happy watching this scene.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about that whole musical, where like yeah, they're all the kids start like dancing, all synchronized and shit. I think what that movie's trying to do is like they're so like trying to prove to themselves that they're like the most manliest mans that ever existed. It gets to a point where like it starts to get extremely homoerotic.
Oh
Like
my god.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, no, seriously, because like look at the choreograph. They're clearly like making fun of like Wham or like all of those like eighties boy like eighties man group,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. I recognized that a lot. I was just like, why is this turning into an 80s like an 80s boy group or
Yeah, it
something?
like I thought it was like a Right Said Fred music video at one point. It got to that level.
I didn't even think about it. I just imagine it's like one of those old, like, remind me just like the old musical numbers that you have in old, like the movies from the 30s. I just saw that. That was just the closest thing I thought of when that scene happened.
Oh yeah, I mean it is true that I did see some interviews, and apparently yeah, Greta Gerwig really was inspired. She really was inspired by a bunch of old musicals to when she was doing them. Like apparently the whole set design was really inspired by like The Wizard of Oz or like Singing in the Rain.
Playtime. I like that she brought up Playtime because I could see like some references
Yeah,
to
she
Playtime.
references Playtime and like Umbrellas of Cherbourg, you know. Even though this movie is very modern, I like how she took a lot of influence from like very old school musicals.
There's so much to love about this movie. I can go on for hours. I can't stand it.
This, but I mean, I think one thing I feel like we should just talk about a bit is like the little controversy that one side is doing right now.
Assuming you mean the controversy of, you know, just I mean, we said it before at the beginning. Yeah, people who, despite the movie being as explicit as possible, they still didn't get the movie at all, you know?
let's say this little boy called Benny Shapiro went to go see it with, let's say he's a very intelligent critic. He brought notes. He brought notes and a pen. Very professional man right there, and he wrote a lot about it. I tried to watch the review with Nicoli, and Nicoli, how far did we get into the video?
We I guess we started like just 2 minutes because we couldn't watch all the video because it was like so, I had no words. Yeah,
So cringe. It's so fucking cringe.
Like the dolls, he was like burning Barbies. He had all the job to burn Barbies. Like, why are you doing that? Why? It's so stupid to do. So stupid.
And then it's like the thing I showed you both you guys and Nicoli about the yellow flash dude who like literally made fucking lies to like stir up stuff, like the whole thing of like, oh, a woman walked out of Oppenheimer, or like the Barbie is another woke fest.
Yeah.
It's just like people like him are like literally just making lies because he knows that he can just get like young, impressionable people to like, especially boys, to be like into this and be like, yeah, the Barbie movie is woke, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is just like speaking me personally, but like, to be honest, I really don't have much to say about it because like,
I just want it because it's a big conversation. A bit.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, I mean, am I seriously surprised that's how they reacted? Absolutely not, because I mean, okay, let's just be a little fair for a second. Like, this movie, it's not that this movie is not made for them. This movie literally actively shits on them. Like,
especially Ben Shapiro, he's very how do you say, he's very uncomfortable with ideas like that, which to the point that he has to literally grow a beard to show like how manly he is when he really isn't.
Like, the movie literally called his fucking ass out, and he doesn't know how to handle it. You know, and it's even more pathetic because like I said, like, they're not. This is not a movie that says, "Oh yeah, all men are bad and awful." Like this, like they're just, the movie's just fucking around. They're just jokes, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it's really funny how like a lot of these people who are like, I mean, they call themselves like, you know, oh, super duper advocates of free speech or whatever, and like, oh, you know, the woke media doesn't handle all of these, you know, jokes, you know, this comedy we're doing. But then as soon as the joke is on them, they immediately start to say the exact same things that the others complain. Like, it really is like a gigantic double standard, because like you don't, like, it's all okay until they actually start making fun of you, until you are the butt of the joke. Now it's personal. Now it's like an attack. You know, like, what the fuck is that logic? And especially like people like all of the people who like started doing all of these reviews were the usual suspects. You know, like are you seriously surprised that the critical drinker made a review about it without having even seen the fucking movie? Like, of course he did.
Wait, really? Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't exactly do a review, but he did upload a video that was like it was like it was either like a 10 to 20 minute video of like him being like, oh, this Barbie movie sounds like it's gonna be awful, it's gonna be garbage. This is my opinion from literally reviews online. Like he already knows he's not gonna like it because he knows the movie's actively shitting on him. So
I mean, the one who I despise the most is It's a Gundam. I have a very much hatred for It's a Gundam. I want him. The reason why I have more hatred for It's a Gundam because he doesn't show his face like the other ones. He uses an anime character to say like I really just at times would like to just be in a fucking phone call with him and just be like, take out that fucking profile picture and like put yourself in the camera and say all the things you're saying without editing, without using information, just your own words. Because I really want to see how a person of color can literally say the shit you're saying about media. Because literally you are full of shit at times.
I mean, that's the same thing with that other guy you showed me. Like, it's literally just him screen sharing his fucking laptop, like reading an article. Like, I seriously can't think of a worse way to just waste my time watching something, you know? I don't know. Yeah, but that's the thing, because like, what point can I make that the movie is not making for me? Like literally, like they're literally just like butthurt that a movie made fun of them instead of what usually happens is that the movies make fun of people that aren't them. Yeah, honestly, fucking cares what they think. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. It's just things like that I feel like should be talked about because it's just like a bunch of these motherfuckers are just like are like gaining followers for like really no important reason. They don't bring conversation to a media that's very diverse. It has always been diverse, but they believe that it's not diverse. And it's sad. I want to ask first, because I know Nicoli hasn't seen it, but for all three of us, how did we see it?
Sadly, I did not catch it on IMAX. I watched it in a normal, nice theater.
Same here because my friend is deaf and 70mm does not offer subtitles.
Okay, I guess I'm the only one that saw it in 70mm IMAX film.
You lucky bitch.
It was the only theater. I'll tell you a bit of a story right now. That theater is the only one here in Georgia that is showing it that way, and more in the fact that it's next week. It has sold out. It has sold out all next week. That specific
It's
theater.
been sold out for me all fucking week. My theater, I'm never gonna have a chance to watch in 70
I got the seats like very close to the screen, kind of, not like the close, but like close, like kind of close. Where at times, like my friend who I was watching this with, she told me at times like, yeah, she had to move her head up for like how big the screen was. Do you guys remember the video I gave you, or where I saw Oppenheimer in?
Yeah, you sent us a video to the chat. That's a big ass screen.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it, I didn't even know what I was looking at. It was just this like big wall, but then I realized it's actually the IMAX screen.
Yeah, this was fucking crazy. And I think it was film. I think it was 70mm film that I saw it in. I'll check again. I found it interesting how over there in Latin America there is no 70mm IMAX film.
No, there was only IMAX when we watched it.
Yeah, I was surprised. Not even Mexico got it. I was just like, wait, what? There's one in Australia. I think Jules watched it in 70mm. I think, in Melbourne. I think I like Timmy's review a lot, and for Oppenheimer, where he literally said like this is a Marvel movie for like science nerds.
It really was. It literally was. There's literally Marvel moments in the movie, but for people who are like history nerds or science nerds, it was honestly kind of cute watching that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like, I mean, I'm not like the most gigantic history buff, but I do remember I really like history and learning about it. So like seeing a bunch of names I'm actually recognized, I was like, oh, that's cool, you know.
Watching this in 70mm IMAX, I was literally there were some scenes where they literally hurt my ass with how big with how loud the sounds were because my seat would like actually vibrate in some moments in the movie.
Yeah, I can bet. I
It
mean,
was,
even I like like I said, like I watch it in a normal theater, but even like the scene with like, obviously, the scene where like the Trinity bomb goes off, like when that first like sound goes off, like it like scared the shit out of me. I literally felt the theater vibrating.
yeah, me too. When the bomb exploded, I was like, wait, where's the sound? Like, where the hell's the sound? And then I just saw like this, like it looked nice. Like I love the flames and everything, how you could see like the flames and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, it's beautiful. And then like the sound up here, I was like, oh,
But
and
yeah, I would agree with a lot of the reviews that say that this is probably uh, Christopher Nolan's most interesting movie he's ever done. Like ever since
it's his
Memento.
most ever since Memento. This movie reminds me a lot of Memento, but at the same time, it has ideas of like Memento that Memento did much more better in. Specifically, the black and white scenes.
Yeah,
I felt like the black and white scenes were kind of getting more confusing over the film.
yeah. I think the usage of the black and white. I mean, I guess it really does speak of a film when you have to look up why it's black and white. Like if you don't immediately understand it, like I don't think it was like a good choice to use the black and white, because I think it's more confusing than anything. Even though I do like how it looks, honestly, to be honest, I would have been interested to just watch the movie in black and white, like the entire thing.
Yeah. Apparently, they actually had to build a new type of IMAX camera for black and white because Nolan didn't want to like shoot that part like in color. They actually wanted to like do it in like black and white film and IMAX. So that's what they did.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they and do you guys know who the cinematographer is for Oppenheimer?
Hoyte Hoytema. I'm sorry if I completely did not pronounce that name. Yeah, that's the guy from Nope. That's the guy from a lot of Nolan movies, actually. Um, what else did he do? He did other.
Let the right one in.
Yeah, the Swedish version, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But pretty honestly, at this point, pretty big, very very talented cinematographer, and
Mhm.
and yeah, honestly, I guess that's the one. That's probably the first thing I can say about this movie is the cinematography is incredible.
Yeah, especially I want to know how they did like specific scenes because Nolan said like this movie is 100% not CGI.
Mhm.
So I'm like, how do they do some specific scenes like the scene where they show the planet like being engulfed in flames with a nuclear bomb? Like how do they do that without CGI? I'm so
I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm not. I mean, I'm not an expert on video effects. So I may be wrong, but honestly, I'm actually not sure if that scene is not it's not a CGI. I'm pretty sure that scene is actually CGI. He just didn't want to admit it. But like the scene with the explosions and the I guess those like little scenes where like you can see inside his head and like all the fission atom stuff is going on. I can see how that's practical. Like they probably like it's probably like one of those, like, have you ever gone to like museums where they do like simulations of, like atom shit? That's probably what they filmed.
I never understood like how much of a relationship Nolan and IMAX have had, because apparently The Dark Knight was like one of the first movies to like actually use IMAX, like to shoot it in IMAX. I'm just like, wow, I didn't really understood that until like looking more information, it was like, yeah, that's like one of the biggest moments with the Dark Knight was like it. There was some specific scenes, like the beginning scene that where they shot it in IMAX, and that was like a big thing for the time because no other film like was like shot in IMAX like the way The Dark Knight was. Because IMAX was like apparently just used like for museums or something or documentaries until Nolan like used it for like actual film.
Yeah, I do really think that the movie really does. Like, I really like how Nolan really uses IMAX not as a gimmick, but as an actual way to like tell its story. You know?
Although, to be honest, I do feel like at times it is a gimmick in some scenes. It does feel like a gimmick in some scenes. I don't know. Specifically, like how in some parts it's edited. Like one part it will be like one part will specifically be and will be standard, like kind of standard, shot in 7mm, and then the next scene is like big ass IMAX. I'm just like, what the like what? And then the
You
next
mean the change in aspect ratios?
yeah, like the aspect ratio changes like fast in some scenes. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I mean, I did not feel it that much in this movie though. I think in this one he actually like honed it down a bit. So
Okay. Well, I hope you get to see it in IMAX. I hope you get to see it in IMAX in kind of the same way I did. I hope so. Especially you as well, Dude, because you live in Los Angeles, where you could literally find an IMAX screening for that. I hope you get to see this again in IMAX 70mm IMAX.
That's when you live in Los
Huh?
Angeles to see it. So it's hard.
Really?
Yeah, because you have so many people like fighting for the tickets. So like that's one, especially when like it's only a few theaters around here that lets you do it. So like it's almost like you have to literally fight for it. Like you actually have to fight someone on the
Oh
street.
wow. Well, I'm really hoping you get to see this in 70mm IMAX because it's an experience to say the least. It's a very big experience. Because I've been to this theater before, and the many times I've been to this IMAX, it's like they've always like kind of I think they took out more stuff out of it to make like the projector much bigger because there used to be like this thing that would like black out some of it like was like a I don't know how to explain. It was like to make like a bit space for the movies or something, but I guess Oppenheimer was like that big to the point they had to make it they had to rid it out and like put more for the projector. Also, there was no trailers or anything.
oh wow.
The movie literally just started. It literally just started when the time came.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no trailers or anything. Both me and my friend were just like, oh, it's starting right now. Nice.
I think, I guess when it comes to now that we're talking about how sort of the I guess not gimmicks, but just things that you expect coming into a Nolan movie. You know, like of course a movie. You know, of course you're watching a Nolan movie, and it's not gonna be told in chronological order.
Yeah.
So, and I gotta say, I think it's probably the one major thing that's holding back the movie for me is the fact that like I personally don't understand why it was told the way it was told. Like it made the movie a lot more interesting, sure, but I think with a biopic like this, I don't understand what's the point of like making it as jumpy as it is. Of oh, we're going back and forwards and stuff like that. Like
I think the first 2 hours are good. Like they're really good. Like I was reading Jules's review before this, and I actually do agree with him. Like how the first 2 hours are great, but then the last hour, it really goes down a lot. Just how like because this, I mean, a lot of people have been saying this movie is just talking and everything, but I feel like those 2 hours just did a lot in a way to like really get like excited for the test, for the first test for the atomic bomb, and it did it really well. I feel like
yeah, like those first 2 hours are just like this constant tension just building and building and build, like it just never stops until you get that Trinity scene, you know. And then the last hour, I mean, I wasn't bored in the last hour, but I was a bit like overwhelmed, because I was like, okay, like I think the climax just happening. Like I think this is like I like the idea of, like, you know, the whole Trinity stuff happening, and now like you see Oppenheimer's consequences, but I don't know if you need an extra hour for that. Like honestly, I think I mean, I could see if you need that extra hour if the movie was in chronological order, but since we've already got stuff beforehand that was explaining the whole situation. I think and another half an hour would have been enough, because I can see how the first 2 hours are basically to build up the Trinity scene, and then the last hour is basically a build up to see how so many characters were like stabbing Oppenheimer in the back, and how this whole nuclear bomb stuff was just a complete mistake, and how it's just being taken over by politics, just a bunch of stupid bullshit, you know. Like I understand that, but I just think like I don't think the movie really justified how it was structured, and also how long it was. You know, I think the 2 hour and a half would have been fine by me.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
2 hours and 20 minutes would have been better.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because, like I said, like honestly, I think this movie has probably one of my favorite Nolan scenes ever. Like, which is that entire 20-minute scene. I guess you can't call it a scene, but you know, just that entire 20-minute build up to the detonation of Trinity. Like,
Yeah. I love how it's 20 minutes, though. I love how it's 20 minutes, that movie, because there are some movies where they literally say, like, oh, it's going to take, like, 40 or 30 minutes, but then it's, like, only just 10 minutes. So I do love how Nolan did put the detail in, like, yeah, it's actually 20 minutes. You have to wait for that scene.
yeah, and I just really love how they use. Honestly, I think the thing that saves this movie's pacing, because like I said, like even though I did feel the runtime and I did feel that it was overused, I did not feel bored, or and you know, I still thought the pacing was very well done. And honestly, I think what saves the pacing is the music. Like the music is constantly giving you this, not only just rhythm to the scenes, but also just tension. Like I just love how you know, the music is always there, but it's barely noticeable. And then as soon as things start to get way more tense, like it just keeps getting more and more intense. Like the music, you know, like I really like that how he used the stomping, you know, of the crowd, like
Yeah.
to just like really get you in this sense of like almost impending doom, sort of.
I love the visions that he has, like how he sees like dead burnt bodies in the ground, and like he's stomping on them. The very like I really like how that's how that he feels like some sort of guilt towards like what's going on in the situation.
Yeah, exactly. I also love those visions because honestly, something that I don't think a lot of people appreciate about Nolan, but it's something that's actually one of my favorite things about him, is when he gets really surreal with his movies. Like when he gets really creative and weird is when I actually really like him the most, especially with like those visions. Like I really love how he used that scene where like she's basically confessing that he was cheating on his wife with Florence Pugh's character, and I love how in Kitty's perspective she literally is watching the two fucking basically like literally.
I kind of thought that was kind of unnecessary because I was just like,
I loved
what does
it.
it really have? I was just first like, what does it really have to do? But then now when you're saying it's like, okay, it makes much more sense.
I don't
It
know.
makes much.
I really liked it because it was very awkward in the right way, you know? Like it really made you very uncomfortable watching it, but that was the point, you know? Like he's literally naked in front of these people because he's exposing his his more shady past, because I mean, I don't know, people, I mean, I guess if you're not a historian you won't notice, but yeah, Oppenheimer has some dodgy shit in his past. He was really like not as much of a victim as you might think. Like he was kind of an asshole in a lot of things, and I like how the movie really does not side with him. Like, yeah, like it does make you feel bad for him, of course, but at the same time the movie does say, yeah, this guy is still a jackass basically.
Yeah, I did kind of got confused with what happened to Florence Pug's character because I know she dies, but it's like weird how it happens because it's like someone strangling her, but it's suicide. It's interesting.
I think what happens is that she drowned herself, but the way they was filmed, it almost looked like somebody was like holding her to the bathtub, but it was like herself holding herself in the bathtub. It was really it was really weird, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was basically the implication that, yeah, she committed suicide. Yeah, and also another scene that I loved was when he really starts to feel extremely guilty over the stuff that he did, like with the bomb and stuff. Like, I love how they use it kind of reminded me because they use the same method in Bardo, where like people are clapping but you don't hear the actual clap.
Yeah.
Like, I love
Yeah.
that. And yeah, how they reincorporate the blinding light from the nuclear bomb, and how you see that one woman's face almost like start to tear up, and like just people dying in front of him and stuff. Like, I really love that. I really love how it gets really surreal. It gets really nightmarish with the visuals. Honestly, I wanted more of that. And well, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, like, this fucking podcast is gonna be like 3 hours long. But
Yeah.
like I said at the beginning of this podcast, like I really like how this movie has this huge, gigantic cast, like biggest cast I've seen in a movie in like a long time.
Fucking Josh Peck from Drake and Josh is in this. Both me and my friend were like, oh, it's Josh. It's Josh Peck from Drake.
You didn't know that Josh Peck was in the movie?
No, I was very surprised. I was like, oh my god, it's Josh Peck.
Yeah, he appeared in one of the trailers.
I didn't know
I
that.
thought it was really funny. But yeah, exactly. Like Josh Peck, and then fucking Rami Malek has this like tiny character. Gary Oldman also plays.
Gary Oldman. I didn't know it was Gary Oldman until like I look at the cast and just like, oh, Gary Oldman was in this? What the fuck?
Yeah, he was.
He was a cameo. It's more like a cameo
Yeah,
in a way. Crazy.
but yeah, it has this gigantic cast, but it doesn't feel gimmicky at all. It legitimately feels like they were picked because they embodied the characters. It legit, like, honestly really like that, because all of the acting was stellar.
To be honest, I didn't know it was Emily Blunt. I thought it was Rooney Mara.
Really?
I thought it was Rooney Mara because I was like, yeah, this is Rooney Mara. I know this is Rooney Mara. Then I saw the cast. I'm just like, wait a minute. I thought that was Rooney Mara. It's Emily Blunt.
Benny Safdie,
Yeah, but
surprised he was in this. I really love them. Also, again, yeah, Robert Downey Jr.
yeah,
He's like, hey guys, by the way, Robert Downey Jr. can act. He's not just Iron Man, okay?
yeah. Cillian Murphy does like a really good job in this. Like he really embodies that character. Like he really embodies Oppenheimer. How he talks and everything in this movie. It's how it's like he's well enough like unsure of like if this is going to be fine, because he has the visions of like, yeah, he believes that there's a possible chance that the nuclear bomb could do drastic effects to the world, and especially could like bring the world to the end.
Mhm.
And it's like that famous quote he did. He said, "I am become death, the story of all worlds."
Yeah, and like, just technically, this movie is like insanely well made. Like it's like honestly, it's super. It's so. It almost fixes a lot of issues that I've have had in the past with Nolan. You know, like stuff like yeah, like I thought the sound design in this and sound mixing in this movie was a lot
It's so
better.
much better. So much better. So much better in this movie. Thank God.
Yeah, like just compare it from Tenet, where like half the time you can't even tell what the hell they're saying. You know, like hear the music. The music is still like overly present, but again, it makes sense why it's overly
I
present.
like
And even then,
I like the what's it called? It's called Can You Hear the Music? I like that one where it's like at the beginning. I don't know if you know it's like dun 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 dun
yeah,
dun dun. I love that.
yeah, exactly. I think it's one of the first songs actually that pops up. But yeah, I really love that piece. Um, yeah, like honestly, like I don't really have. The thing is, like, I don't really have that much complaints about the movie. It's just the fact that, like,
It's
uh,
so long.
it's just the few complaints that I have are major ones that really bring it down.
Yeah.
And I know that they may sound like nitpicky that like oh it's too long or it's too dialogue heavy, but really like I can see how this movie can work if they just like trim it down just a tiny bit, you know. Because I like how dialogue heavy it is. I like how, you know, the movie, yeah, it is about the guy who invented nuclear bombs, but it's still very refreshing and you know, like it doesn't treat itself like this like huge biopic blockbuster. You know, it treats it like a like a very serious drama basically. But yeah, it's just these things that really like hold it back. I still want to watch it again, but like I don't know if like watching it again I'll like it more or less. I guess another thing that I really appreciate about just the film itself is the fact that like you know like I said like it doesn't really, even though the movie's about the Oppenheimer, is not really like a movie that's supposed to like celebrate him or anything. Um, and honestly, I think that goes about any character. You know, like no, every character in this movie is not looked at, you know, in the best of lights. Let's be real. You know, like it's not that it's critical. It's just very objective. You know, almost documentary ish. You know.
Especially how things secured because it's like how at first the Manhattan Project was built because they wanted to make sure that they built nuclear bombs before the Nazis did, but then the Germany surrendered, so their only main tactic was Japan and just really how they would where to bomb and everything. It was crazy. Because it's like it's really crazy when you have to think of like this is all planned. Even to like where to like place the bombs. Like it's crazy. Like because remember how they had a list of like okay this is where we will these are the two cities that we will hit with the bombs. And it's crazy because it's just like Jesus Christ, like all that planning really goes a lot because it's not just like things are random. It's like this is actually planned.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like I think that was probably one of the most infuriating parts of the movie, but like intentionally infuriating, I mean, because like these people are really just so detached and just dehumanized to such a degree where like they're literally like they're literally like debating, oh, which city of innocent people are we going to fucking murder? You know, they're deciding the fate of like thousands of innocent people just.
It's much more interesting with I don't know if you ever seen like documents or the files of like what happened to people who were affected by Hiroshima and Nagasaki and how like some people have like generations of like future families of like being affected by some sort of disease or something that the bombs have given to like to the next generation of people living in Japan.
Yeah. funny enough, something that Oppenheimer really did remind me of a lot was if you guys don't know this YouTuber Emp Lemon, he has this amazing video called Devil. I can't remember the full title, but it's basically a video about this guy called Stanislav Petrov. And most of the more than about him, the video is just more about just the Cold War and what just the fear that nuclear bombs were able to create on society during those times. I would really recommend it. But just this whole idea of like, wow, we really did not gamble correctly on just creating the most ultimate destructive thing in existence.
What I really liked was the scene when Harry S. Truman says, like, they don't care who, like, because when Oppenheimer tells the President Truman, like, yeah, I feel like guilt over what has happened, and President Truman says, like, you think you feel guilt just because you're the one who made the bomb. They don't care who made the bomb. They cared about who ordered it, and I'm the one who ordered it. Just like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and still, like, just the way that like he was so cold about it, like, oh, I really feel guilty about, just basically being responsible for the murder of thousands, like, Truman just basically says, yeah, stop being a bitch,
Yeah.
And yeah, that goes back to that whole scene of where like he has to put this entire persona of, yeah, we did it, we built the bomb, we created peace, but really, like, in the inside he's like dying, and on the inside, like, he's literally so distraught by what he's created, but like all like he's so put off by the fact that like he basically created the ultimate weapon. Everybody's just cheering him. Honestly, I think it's very interesting that the movie came out in this time period, because we are a very weird and scary time right now, where like we thought that this whole nuclear annihilation and war stuff was kind of behind us, but not anymore. With the whole thing that's been going on with like Russia and like just everybody just going fucking nuts. Like it really. I do think the movie. It's great that the movie came out when it came out, because like it's almost like the fear of nuclear fallout has come back, which is very scary. But I do think it's important for a movie like this to be out, because a lot of the stuff that goes on in the movie, despite it being set in the 40s, is very relevant. Just like how, like, just because of his not even belief, just his alliance with the Communist Party, just led Oppenheimer to be really this like almost rejected character of the U.S. It's kind of like how a lot of people, especially political parties, just kind of like dismiss so many people because of their beliefs. That's really, and also, yeah, just how these countries are just so gung-ho about their ideologies and just their political bullshit that they don't even care to think about the consequences of what's going on. Like these people are literally playing with fire. Like they could really they could destroy everything, and all they care about is their little fucking bullshit parties and countries and stuff.
The famous quote from Oppenheimer, "I am become death, the destroyer of worlds," makes very much sense when you realize that he basically says that he has become the reason why humans have this thing where they can literally just kill everyone, like these nuclear bombs and everything, which makes it much more scarier. I heard some people saying that this movie felt like sort of a horror movie. I'm just like, kind of.
I would agree. I actually do think there are some scenes in this movie that actually are a bit unsettling. You know, like, I remember when when like the people are cheering for Oppenheimer, and it immediately just cuts into a single scream, you know, like a horror scream, like a child screaming in terror, and that really put me off. Like I did not see that coming, but yeah, I really like how the movie uses its sound and visuals to like unsettle people, you know. Mm. So, Oswaldo, why did you give it a 1 out of 10?
Oh, 1 out of 10, dude. I was just joking with that.
Yeah.
I know, but
What's your actual rating?
what's your actual?
Like an 8.
Really?
That's cool.
Okay, it's much higher than mine or Diego's. I mean, both of ours are the same.
Yeah.
Like I think my issues with the movie are very glaring, but I still had a lot of fun with it. Fun is a weird word to use, especially when it's about Oppenheimer and the nuclear war.
Yeah, it's about it's about nuclear annihilation.
Yeah, but I still enjoyed the. Like I like to watch it again, and I especially like. It's just some of these ideas he has are fucking out there that I just couldn't help but laugh. Like me and my brother make fun of this scene a lot, but I still think it's fun to know like that. Uh, the first time we hear this like famous quote about like destroyer of worlds and all, he reads it off like this book that Florence Pugh has on like we joke around that like he read it off her titties, but like I still thought it still made me laugh knowing like that's where we got the famous quote, like that's where we're hearing it for the first time. That's kind of funny. Come on.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That is a good point. I'm glad you brought it up because yeah, it is. I did find it a bit weird that like the moment you hear the famous quote is basically when like Florence Pugh's on top of him. Like that's like okay, is that your pickup line then? Like, is that how you get? Is that you get pussy by reading the Bhagavad Gita? Like I don't understand. uh, yeah, I mean, I guess the line is also reincorporated later when the actual Trinity scene happens. But yeah, that is a very strange way to put that famous quote.
That's what I thought was so weird about it, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, same with when the woman's face is getting teared up by the explosion. Like one of the women who's like clapping and stuff. Which I would say, I think I would have liked if like they went a bit further with the makeup because it does look like her skin is being peeled off slightly. But like I would have liked it like they went a lot more hardcore with it, like because like if you see a lot of the if you see a lot of like scenes in movies where like a bomb goes off, like a nuclear bomb goes off, like they basically show you how their face literally like get ripped off, and their eyes just fucking pop off, like I find it interesting how they didn't go as gory as they did, even though they did have the R rating, so they could have done it.
Yeah, exactly. I was wondering about that. Like, if you have an R rating, you could fuck around with the makeup a little more,
Yeah, just go all the way.
Yeah.
Although now we're speaking of the R rating, like actually my friend from film school that I watched this movie with, we thought we were joking about this, where we said like, do you think Christopher Nolan filmed this on 75 IMAX just so that he could film Florence Pugh's titties? Do you think he really wanted that? Do you think that's what he wanted this entire time, just to have Florence Pugh's boobs on 75 IMAX?
Probably so.
This reminds me of like kind of made me wish like that's cool enough, but I really wish we saw some Cecilian Murphy cock.
Yes.
That one made the movie a 10 out of 10.
I would have upped my rating if I got to see Cillian Murphy's cock.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. Maybe you know what? Maybe he did film that, but he kept that part of the film to himself. He just had this tiny piece of film in his drawer.
No. I was thinking more like Cinema Paradiso.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Like Christopher Nolan is just the ending of Cinema Paradiso, but instead it's just film reels of Cillian Murphy's penis.
Good. Thank God. I want that. I want that to exist somewhere. Interesting thing that I had with the movie is like how much like how noisy the whole movie can be. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like it never feels like there's a moment of silence in the movie, except when the bomb actually goes off, where we just see the explosion, and then you hear the shockwaves from it, right? I remember I had very mixed feelings about that scene, just because like I'm glad that we had this like we finally hear, well, we finally get this moment of silence in the movie after like maybe 2 hours of like montage, like music, dialogue. Like the movie never seems to like take a break. So when the movie finally goes quiet, I thought it was very effective. But I also had this feeling like I hope I don't like. It feels like it's gonna be kind of hard to go through 2 hours again. Just get this one moment. Like I like the movie, but like it is kind of hard to overlook that for me. Like the
Yeah,
movie always.
you think the movie's very watchable?
Yeah, like it's a fascinating movie that I really like, but like the issues are just glaring, man. But it is a fascinating movie just because like I like the movie, but like it's like no one else around me seems to like it. Like it's interesting.
It's not that like people hate it or anything, but it's like, but I think that it's weird that you say that because I feel like a lot of people really like this movie though. Like I remember like when I was leaving the theater, like lots of people were clapping at the end. I'm just like, wow, the hell?
It was a lot of mixed feelings when I left the theater actually. Even my friends and brother were had a lot of issues with it, and while overall like they thought it was fine, but there was like a lot of issues that they took with it. Especially like if Mobius was here, he would love to discuss his issues. But I still like I feel like I'm the only one that's like, ooh, interesting. I like this movie a lot, especially like where I live. Like it's funny. Like it was only online that I saw like how many people were enjoying it. But afterwards at the theater, like I was thinking to myself like, man, like I keep hearing all these negative comments. Like, dang, I'm surprised how many people didn't like this. I liked it.
Very crazy how how specifically the nuclear bomb, and after that, like during the Cold War, started up like many people's fears during the idea of like what would happen if another nuclear bomb were to strike. Very interesting how like artists at the time were like even like depicting that. Like, have you guys ever seen the short film A Short Vision? It's like a short animated film about like the about like an idea of like of a nuclear apocalypse. Very, very interesting.
Uh,
Have any of you two ever heard of it?
I haven't seen that one. I've definitely seen, or at least heard of, a bunch of other like movies that came out like especially during the 80s, because I guess that's when the Cold War tensions were like at their peak, basically. But yeah, I've seen a lot of
Short
movies
Vision
where,
came
like,
out in 1956. It came out in 1956, and there's some really weird imagery in Short Vision where I haven't thought of it for a long time, but I remember when I was young, I got like I got some really big nightmares over some of that. Some of the imagery is a bit like, yeah, even when you're an adult, you're gonna get still a bunch of shit for that.
I want to look it up because it looks very interesting.
Yeah, Short Vision.
Yeah, but yeah, there's also like there's also the probably the most notorious movie with this theme, which is Threads. You know,
Threads. I have not seen Threads yet,
I've
but
seen
I know
bits
about
of
it.
it, and yeah, it's not very fun. But in that short film called I think it's called The War Game. Uh,
Board game.
yeah, The War Game. It's like a TV special or something. I think some, you know, a lot of people think have seen, at least they've seen the nuclear bomb scene, that anime movie, Barefoot Gen. You know?
Yeah, barefoot. Yeah, I know that scene. I've seen that scene before. The
Yeah,
one where the whole fucking nuclear bomb and everything like explodes. It's a crazy scene.
yeah, yeah,
Crazy scene how they animated that. I'm just like, wow.
yeah. And then yeah, there's also movies that aren't specifically about that sort of treat the theme, like like an Akira, or
Yeah.
Iron Giant has some bits of it as well. Uh, Obviously, things like the Terminator. Like the Terminator is basically like, hey, having nuclear weapons is not the greatest idea, probably. you know. So yeah, like I do think this is a very, like, even though, like, yeah, we make fun of, like, yeah, we get it, nuclear war, bad, don't do it, stop. But I still think, I still think the movie does a great job of, like, really, um, in a way, kind of like Barbie, surprisingly, just kind of like making it explicitly clear for the audience, hey, this thing, you should pay attention because it's bad.
Yeah.
It's good, good timing on that on Christopher Nolan's part. Then I think I will, because like I know I give it an 8, but I also do um want to cement some certain feelings about the movie, especially because like the movie's a lot and there's like probably stuff I didn't even notice. So I do want to give it another shot and see what I missed, especially because like the movie just drowns you in like expositions, and it's kind of hard, like it's kind of hard to keep up the first time. So like I feel like I'll truly cement my feeling my I might cement the positive aspects about it or the negatives, and see what else I like about it. Especially you do need to watch this twice, not because like it's a complicated story, but like it's still a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to take in the first time, especially even like, because like I was familiar with, like, the Oppenheimer story, and just in general what the whole thing that went down with the nuclear bombs, and even I was a bit lost and confused at some points, because it is just a bunch of information happening all at once.
I guess I'll just tell myself I'm really happy that I brought Nicole over, especially for Barbie, to give us like really I felt like her conversation about like what she felt in a specific scene really helped me a lot to like think about. I'm just like, yeah, doesn't make me think about it much more. How like someone from the opposite gender of me thinks more of that scene than I do.
I think it was important to have. Yeah, I do think that we should value the importance of a woman might think about the movie, especially because, like, we're all dudes. I I don't think we could ever understand. We'll try, but it's better to have someone of the opposite gender speak of what they think about it. So that's cool. Thank you, Nicole, for joining us for this discussion.
Yeah, I should say thank you. Good.
If you had to rate Barbenheimer, like both movies, what'd you give it?
I give it a 10 out of 10
Oh
experience. It
yeah,
was
oh
amazing.
yeah. It's fun, especially because like these movies were much longer than a regular double feature for me. So like it was like fuck, I was really tired by the end.
You should see me in my fucking Barbie dress up. I look epic as fuck, boy. Um,
My big idea was like to look very gay that day for Barbie.
Look, man. Did you wear high heels? If you didn't, then I look gayer than you.
No,
Just because.
no, I didn't wear high heels.
Come on. Why not? Um, so yeah, I guess just to, like, give some closure. Just kind of ground this little podcast, so we can end it, because this has been a lot to talk about in a single podcast. So I guess I'll give it some conclusion. Is that overall, I guess both movies, even if they did have their problems, specifically Oppenheimer, I think I'm very happy with how both movies turned out. They said I don't, even if I hate to have my problems, I don't think any of the two disappointed me. And honestly, just as the whole, like, I'm really glad, I'm very happy that this whole thing started. Just simply because it's nice to see people having fun at a theater again.
I like this much more than Dental Minions, because I feel like Dental Minions is more like for young teens or something. Like young teens to just fuck around and everything in the theater. Not really like to really have, like, it wasn't really for something for like everyone to have fun with. I think Barbenheimer is much more than that. Barbenheimer, you can actually have lots of fun.
Yeah, exactly. Because like even like other big movie events that happened like beforehand, like you could say maybe the Mario movie or like No Way Home. And I guess I am speaking from my own personal opinion, but like, to be honest, like No Way Home and Mario movies are like, people had fun in the theater, but it was mostly just because of nostalgia. And it was just because of like the moment, because like nobody like is talking about No Way Home now. And I don't think Super Mario movie is gonna be like the most, it's gonna be really remembered, other than people having fun at the theater. Whereas this, I honestly think, like, you can say whatever you want about Barbie and Oppenheimer, but they're certainly memorable. Like they certainly leave a mark on you, and they're very much like trying to do something very different with the film industry. And I'm honestly very glad that they succeeded. Like, I'm very, honestly, I'm very curious what's going to happen next with the whole film industry. Like, not just with the whole strikes that have been going on. Obviously, that's going to have a gigantic impact, but also just like I said, like all the biggest movies this year failed, except for these two, and these two were very different. And even the other movies that did well, like I said, like Asteroid City or Spider-Verse, like these are not your typical Hollywood movies. Like, it's very clear that this is not just film bros complaining about bullshit. Like, clearly the audience wants something very different. They're not content with like what most of these big movies are. And I'm not even like super into the big Hollywood movies, but they are still a big part of what the film industry is, and I want to see them succeed, because at the end of the day, that's what keeps the industry going. So it is. I think if they stick to what they were still doing before the Barbenheimer, I honestly think there's going to be a huge missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I don't think that's going to happen, because like, come on,
there will be no other. I feel like there will be no other thing like Barbenheimer in the next few years. I think we're gonna have to wait for a long time for something like this great, like Barbenheimer.
Yeah, especially because like I can see how so many industries are going to try to like, I guess.
I mean, they're already doing it. They're already doing it with fucking Saw and Paw Patrol. Like, did you see the Twitter thing of like Parrot Mountain Lionskin being like 7 tickets for Saw Patrol? It's just like, who the fuck?
Yeah.
Who's excited for that? Nobody is.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can see how so many studios, and they already are, like trying to replicate it. Like, apparently, like Mattel wants to do a bunch of other movies with like their toy properties.
Hey, I'm kind of interested with the Barney movie. I was telling Nicole about this, like, because of what I've heard. Apparently, it's like a base. It's going to be it's influenced by by being John Malkovich and adaptation and some Charlie Kaufman and everything. I'm just like, okay, this could be very interesting. And you know what? I can personally say I've been a fan. I like Barney when I was little, so I can comfortably say that I loved Barney as a kid. I had the VHS tapes. I dressed up as Barney as a kid. I don't give a shit. I was the number one Barney fan for the time.
Yeah, like or even that apparently yeah they I don't know, I think it was I think J.J. Abrams is producing a Hot Wheels movie, and like
That's so weird.
yeah, and he's like, yeah,
No.
we want to make it very gritty and realistic, you know, like they really want to go in on that direction, you know. And
I don't think they should do it with everyone. I'm very interested in the Barney one because who's involved in it is specifically Daniel Kaluuya.
yeah, that's so weird. But yeah, like I do see how they're gonna try to like replicate it, but like I think something like Barbenheimer is just something so unique and something so, you know, only happens, you know, once every few years, that like I don't think it's gonna be like done again in a while. But I do think a lot of people can like really see, really first of all, really have, you know, faith again in just like being able to watch a movie and not be insanely disappointed or just bored, you know, like, and also just really bringing them out to like try new things, you know, because like that's basically what they want, you know, they want newer things, you know, more out there ideas, you know. And honestly,
Yeah.
this happens all the fucking time, you know. Like there was a time where like all 80s movies just kind of sucked ass, so in the 90s they tried something very different, you know.
Yeah.
I guess, you know, it has been a wild ride this entire I guess I mean I guess it was just building up since last year, but you know, it really was, you know, this whole 2 months of Barbenheimer shit that's been going on has been very interesting and honestly very fun.